First of all, I would like to express my congratulations and profound respect for the men and women on September 11th who got the planes down. This was an extraordinary effort to safely land over 4,000 planes that were in the air at the time of the hijack. Having said that, I was struck by Mr. Sliney's observation that he had no idea that terrorists could learn how to fly and take over a commercial airplane. Now, it's no secret that we have repeatedly observed that one of the failures of 9/11 was the inability of the government to share information which it had in its possession prior to 9/11 that could have helped the common good, could have helped others prepare defensively to deal with what was perceived as a threat. So I will ask the question, as I have to others, whether any of you were advised that on August the 18th, 2001, the Minneapolis office of the FBI sent a detailed memo to FBI headquarters describing the Moussaoui investigation. Moussaoui had been arrested the day before, and describing the facts as believing that Moussaoui and others yet unknown were conspiring to seize control of an airplane, and that was based on Moussaoui's possession of weapons and his preparation through physical training for violent confrontation. Did any of you receive that information in words or substance?
I did not.
On August 27th, the FBI supervisor in Minneapolis, trying to get the attention of those in headquarters at FBI, said he was trying to make sure that Moussaoui, and I quote, did not take control of a plane and fly it into the World Trade Center. August 27, 2001. Did anyone receive in words or substance that information?
No. No.
Finally, in characterizing in a briefing to CIA Director Tenet later in the month of August, the headline, Islamic extremist learns to fly, Mr. Sliney. If you had had such information, and going back to the question of the toolbox available to you, that individuals, as yet unnamed, according to the suspicion, highly educated by the Minneapolis office of the FBI, had the intention to take over a commercial airliner, that at least one of them had received flight training and had sought flight training for commercial airliners, recognizing the ongoing intifada. We don't have to go all the way back to World War II and the kamikaze. Various of my colleagues have talked about the repeated information coming from the intelligence community that suicide bombings, suicide hijackings were in the toolbox of the other team. Is there not something that you could have done, either in terms of screening at the airports ratcheting down what people could carry onto the airplanes, advising pilots about keeping the door of the cockpit locked and secured? Is there nothing that could have been done had you received that information?
I think if we had received information as specific as you just laid it out, there are some things that we would have looked at doing.
Such as?
Well, I think you described several of them. I think we would have also, off the top of my head, listening to how you described it, we would have considered looking at who else might be getting flight training.
Something which other offices of the FBI, particularly in Phoenix, had already suggested be done. Anything else from any of the other members of this panel?
I think if the air traffic control community had known of such threats, I think our response to stop everyone would have been much sooner.
Elaborate on that, if you will,
Well,
Mr. Sliney.
I'm relying on what I perceive to be the very inquisitive and bright minds of all the air traffic controllers in this nation. And the first hijack, had there been a suggestion to me that the hijacker could actually fly the aircraft, I think I would have shut down a lot more, a lot sooner. I think everyone would have reacted. I think Boston Center may have reacted quicker in requesting the ground stops through their area based on that type of intelligence. That was the anomaly that I indicated earlier, that no one had experience with hijackers who could fly the plane.
I appreciate those comments. Let me conclude with a question about prospective recommendations and whether they've been adopted. There is such a thing, I'm told, as the Industry Transponder Task Force. Is that an organization or group known to you all?
Not to me.
Not to me.
It is not known to me.
They've made a recommendation to remove cockpit capacity to turn off the transponder. They've made recommendations to lock in the 7500 hijack code after entering that code, as well as other recommendations. But these have not percolated up to any of you?
I think the three of us retired, I mean, well over a year ago, and myself well over a year and a half ago, so I
Fair
don't
enough.
I don't know.
Do these recommendations make sense to you?
Yes, absolutely. I believe one of your fellow commissioners asked that earlier. It seems almost obvious not to make it available to someone on the flight deck.
We were told, and I'm not sure on the technical side of this, but that there is a capability to dump fuel remotely. Is that something which resonates with you as a technological possibility? We were told that it was, in fact, installed on other aircraft.
I have read about that. I don't know much about it in terms of dealing with terrorism, but I have read that, and I've read about communication devices to communicate with the flight deck in ways that would not be obvious.
Well, the lethality, if you will, of a hijacked airliner piloted by a suicide fanatic is diminished, would you not agree, by the fact that if you subtract 28,000 or so pounds of highly combustible fuel, is that remote capability to dump fuel another suggestion that might have some merit?
It might, yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr.